you to the Ishan and Harneet show. So, some of you might be wondering why I am here instead of Ishan and Harneet. And as you have seen from my background, from the title and everything, that we're going to talk about build with RPA stuff. And you have heard from me a lot of times about build with RPA, what exactly it is, what it is for you, and once again, what it is it for you, and what you will be getting out of it. So I thought, like, why not I take over the hosting things and be on a quieter side and let our MVPs go ahead and talk about build with RP. So now let me bring back Ishan, Harneet, and our two special guests, Atul as well as Mohit. These are our four MVPs. So yeah, let me go ahead and bring them on stage. Hey, hey.
Hey, hello everyone.
Hello
Hi
everyone.
everyone.
So I have changed the format a bit this time. I hope people will like this kind of format. So firstly, we're gonna start with the introduction. So I'll go first, then I'll just put everyone in clockwise order. Okay. So my name is Pranav Bhagat, and I am a senior developer advocate at ServiceNow. And I've been into ServiceNow for around 8 years. And before joining ServiceNow, I was working with a customer and was helping them with the implementation. I'm also an ex MVP and also a certified technical architect. And now I'm going to pass it to Atul.
Thanks everyone. Thanks Pranav for welcoming me. I'm Atul Groh. I'm working with DXC Technology as a senior business process consultant. Definitely, tech is something different for me, but function is a core area for me. I'm working in ServiceNow domain for the last 8 years now, and I am a MVP and a rising star for 2022 as well. Over to you, Mohit.
Mohit.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Atul. Thanks, Pranav. Thank you guys for having me here. So, guys, my name is Mohit. I am currently working for Dell Technologies. I'm having around 8 years of experience in service now, and I am a developer MVP and community MVP for this year. And I have been a part of Rising Star also last year. So, my core focus areas are into development, and yes, I'm really happy to be here. Thank you, guys.
All right, now it's time for Ishan.
Hey, hello everyone. Myself Vishan. I'm a certified technical architect and a ServiceNow developer MVP. And yeah, glad to be here and talk with everyone on the session today. So we've got quite an audience, and let's see how it goes. Over to you, Honey.
Thanks, Ishan, and thanks everyone for joining us today. So my name is Harneet Singh Seetal. I am part of the ServiceNow practice with Accenture. I am a certified technical architect as well, and I was a rising star last year and was selected as a developer MVP as well. In terms of my overall experience on the platform, I've got about 7+ years of experience on the platform. I started off with Helsinki version, and now I'm looking at Vancouver, almost reaching to the end of the alphabets. In today's session, really excited about looking at the features of the RPA and the new stuff that has come out in Utah and Vancouver as we talk about it. So thank you.
All All right, thanks everyone for your introduction. So I know, like I said in the start, that I won't talk a lot, and I'll let the MVPs talk. But I'll just give a context. Like, if you are hearing about Build with RP for the first time, I think only few number of people will be saying that we are hearing about Build with RP. So it's our challenge that ServiceNow has launched a Build with RP challenge or a campaign in the main idea of this challenge is to enable our ServiceNow community to try and build on ServiceNow RPA. So I think some of you might have already completed challenge, and I think these four MVPs have already done that. So in this session, we're gonna go ahead and see their experience, how they did the challenge, what kind of issues they faced, and we're gonna discuss something other than RPA also. So why not, like, let's start off with Mohit. So Mohit, as everyone know, he just introduced himself that he's an MVP, and also Mohit was also part of the pre-launch of our Build with RPA challenge in Bangalore, India. So Mohit, like, I'd like to know from you, how was your experience with Build with RPA when you first started during the challenge? Like, I remember you were in the front seat and was super eager about what exactly is RPA. And you also had a lot of questions for me in the start that why exactly, what is it, this RPA and all these things, because you were coming from a ServiceNow background, not from RPA. So let's hear from you. What's your experience?
Yeah, so RPA initially I was not aware of it, and I got introduced to RPA, I would say through Pranav, and he kept the Bangalore Developer MVP meetup where we did the pre-launch of the RPA, and I was lucky enough to be part of it. Initially it wasn't that easy to understand it, and as we are used to of working in our ServiceNow instance, and this is an external environment for us, right? So being a ServiceNow developer, we are mostly focused to work on what is there inside ServiceNow, or if we have to integrate something to ServiceNow, but then those things also we preferably do inside the ServiceNow instance. But this was the first time we had to use an external environment. Initially, it wasn't that easy to understand, but with Pranav's guidance and the kind of introduction which he gave, we were able to understand it and we were able to implement it. So the interaction which ServiceNow has brought up for this RPA is quite intriguing. It was very easy to understand. It was very easy to build our flow, our robotic flow with the help of the design studio, and then it was very easy to complete our automation with the help of universal recorder and universal app connector. So altogether, it was a very nice experience. I really loved it. If you would like to know more about the challenge, then I can say a few word about it. What we exactly did in that challenge. So the topic was we have a visitor application in our instance, which is basically used to track the visitors for our campus. And if when the visitors are visiting, we have to issue badges for them. So those badges are created through a Microsoft application, which is not into ServiceNow. So now again, this is something which is external, and somehow it has to be connected. So their RPA came into picture. So we connected our visitor application to the badging application for generating the badges, and then we fed that information into a web form. So all this was done pretty easily, and it was very smooth, and I really loved it.
Awesome. I think that's great. Like you, I know you, like when you started the challenge, right? I remember you as you were in the first seat, and you had so many questions. Okay, Pranav, how are we gonna do it? What software we need to install, and what will be the whole process altogether? So, but I remember like later on, not just you, but the whole crowd, they got used to RPA tech, like how it is built and all, and it's so simple when you combine the universal recorder. So people who are wondering what is a universal recorder basically helps an RP developer to simplify the development by recording any business process. So if you have done the challenge, or you if you're planning to do something, so you can just think about is like when you go and fill a particular form, right, on any website, and think about it, if there is our universal recorder is turned on in the back, it will capture every process that you are doing on the screen, whether it's a click, whether it's a entering of some text and all. So that's how powerful universal recorder is. And yeah, it was a great, so Mohit, thank you very much for sharing your experience about RPA. And I think you were the first MVP who completed the RPA challenge and posted on LinkedIn. So folks, if you haven't posted it yet, go ahead and post it on ServiceNow community as well as LinkedIn. You can see this QR code on this side. I think it's right. That's there. Now I'll put it to I'll just put Atul on the spot, and because Atul has been creating a lot of content and all, and I saw his videos in which like in on his YouTube channel, I think Atul Grover Learn and Grow Together. In that channel, he showed some of the features of Vancouver, and he specifically focused on RPA. I also got a ping from Atul like, okay, this what is RPA and all these things. I said like, wait, you will get a challenge. So Atul, like you also did did the challenge, and I
Yes.
think if let's bring Atul on the stage. So let me just put it on. Okay, uh, I think he's
Okay.
coming. Just yeah,
Sure.
Atul.
Thanks. Yep.
There you go.
Yes, so for me, definitely it was a little challenging part because last year when it was launched by ServiceNow for the App Engine Studio, I think a lot. Shall I participate? Shall I create some challenge? Then I connected with two or three people, and everybody said, "Come on, it's not like a big coding you have to be do. You have to just click a simple app in the App Engine Studio, and you can do that part." But this time, when I received this particular subscription from Lauren on the community that ServiceNow opened the build with RPA challenge, I was very, very kind of a crazy to do this part because now I'm sure that it is not again a coding. And as you say, Pranav, people like me who are not a 100% technical guy but still want to do some kind of a small use cases, some kind of a POCs, universal recorder is one of the best thing ServiceNow gave to us in that particular part. But definitely what I stuck somewhere, maybe from the technical part I can take your inputs or your thoughts on that part, that how RP is different than the integration hub. I try to
Hmm.
sort out some point that both are the same, the working is same, the nature is same, the characteristic is same. But I'm sure that if ServiceNow giving the integration hub and the RP as well, then definitely something is different in both of them. So here I stuck, even though I complete my challenge. It was very good, very fascinating, and actually challenging part to be think that what unique I should build it. But I stuck and I need your inputs on that part, that how these two terms are different.
Yeah, sure. Firstly, like, congratulations, Atul. I know you're wearing the CreatorCon T-shirt, which is a limited edition T-shirt. When you complete a
Correct.
challenge, you will get that T-shirt. So
Yes.
go ahead and participate in the challenge. And that's why, Atul, you're an MVP, right? Because you have brought up a really good point, right? If I tell the audience, like Atul asked, like, what's if we have integration hub, if we are doing an integration already, why we have RPA? See, RP, the biggest difference between RPA and integration hub is like RPA is used to integrate to legacy application where the APIs are not available. So a lot of times there are a lot of processes in banking industry. For example, like I have worked on a project. They said like you have to fill this form manually, right? We can't give you any API because of security things, right? Or they didn't even had APIs at that time. So they asked me to do and fill those things. This is where RP helps you out. It can connect to a lot of legacy systems where the APIs are not there. For example, if you have done the lab, Mohit, Mohit has done it, Atul, you have done it, right? In the
Yes.
lab itself, you might have seen we have created our own custom badge tool application. The
Correct.
custom badge tool application is there so that we can kind of simulate the experience where the APIs are not enabled. So that's the major difference between integration hub and RPA. Integration
Okay.
hub is used to connect to modern tools which have
Mhm.
API things, and we have, I think, more than 180 spokes already available for
Correct.
us to consume. RP, on the other hand, is majorly used to do stuff on a legacy environment where the APIs are not there. So,
Okay.
great question, Atul. I think
Yep.
this was something like a lot of people might be thinking. So thanks for
De-
asking on this thing.
Definitely, yes, because I was doing so. The first thought come in my mind how these two are different. Now, maybe again, people are here who are listening, who are our viewers here. There's a term we use, RPA template. Like we have a chain template, we have an incident template, we have a task template. That what is the purpose of that RPA template and how this can be helpful for me to provide more visibility, more benefit to my customers. Any thoughts on that part? Maybe you are the host, but definitely I can ask a question here.
That happens always, right? Because I love RPA, I love to work on the tech, and that's again a great question, right? Let's do it something fun. So people who are watching us live, tell us in the comment section what is a template. Everyone knows about a template, right? Go ahead and paste in the chat or just type one liner what exactly is a template. I'll ask Harneet. Harneet is our CTA also. He didn't mention in the introduction, but I know he's a CTA. So Harneet, like, what exactly is a template?
I think when we hear the word template, we are very much able to resonate to the email templates. In the ServiceNow platform, we have got templates even for creating applications, and it is similar to those templates being available in the RPA as well. So if there are certain pre-built sort of spokes, or what you call it in RPAs, sort of automatic bots that can be reutilized to any of your functions. So these are what the templates means.
Yeah, you actually kind of answered what exactly is a template and all,
Right.
but I'll ask Mohit also what exactly is a template. And I'm also reading in the comment section about RP templates and all. Go ahead and post that thing. And Mohit, what are your thoughts about template? Just think about template. Like
So
you have
when
incident table. Go ahead.
yes, so when we speak about template, for example, change template, right, which is used to create standard changes. It's like a pre-built form, or it's like a special form, you can say, which you can use to complete your record, which have some pre-filled data and maybe pre-approved data, which you can utilize for creating your own records. That's what I think of a template is.
Yes.
Absolutely. I love it. Also Narendra in the chat also mentioned that it's like pre-built. That's the thing. So again, I'll use the pre-built word. It's like pre-built automations that enable customer to kickstart their RPA journey. That's what RPA template is. So we have made it so easy for our customers. Like, okay, if you don't have any experience, we are giving you some pre-built templates. So for some of the legacy system that we have seen, so go ahead and utilize these templates, apply this thing, and you can kickstart your journey. That's how it is. Like it's a simple thing. It's more of like pre-built configuration, if I have to put it in a
Correct.
simple word. So that's kind of a template. Yeah, Apurva, perfect. A perfect answer for it. If I had some kind of a snack
Yes.
to give you, I would have given it to you.
Sure. So
That's
so
okay.
so that was my experience on the RPA challenge, and I request everybody, irrespective you are a developer, architect, or a functional consultant, give a try, and definitely you can do it. That's my experience says here.
Again, and I
Yes.
talked about swag. You can get swag. See, I got this CreatorCon t-shirt
Yes.
23,
Yeah.
and I to be honest, I didn't got it after completing the challenge because I'm not eligible for the challenge, but I when I was in knowledge, so I got this t-shirt. But Atul has done that challenge, so you will be able to get this t-shirt. All right,
Correct.
now I'll move it to Harneet now. So Harneet, like you have been like following RPA for some time. I remember when I talked with Harneet for the first time during an MVP meeting, closed group meeting. So Harneet was like, Pranav, like RPA is something. I think it was back in San Diego when
Yes, sir.
it was launched, and Harneet was like, Pranav, what's the experience and all in terms of RPA stuff? And this was his first question. He was skeptical. He was like, I might not be doing that RP at all. And I remember his word like, see, this is something outside, and I am a ServiceNow guy. Now he's the person who does a lot of RPA stuff for his own automation for his company and all. So, Hanit, like, what are certain things I we have heard about build with RPA a lot from Mohit, from Atul. Now, I would like to know from you what is something. This is again the fun part, right? Hey, able to hear me, folks? Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
this is the
Pranav, I can hear you.
fun part about it, right? I'm not putting the same question to everyone. So, Harneet, like, what are your top five features of RPA? If not top five, I know, like, putting it in top five, it's kind of less because it might be like there are so tons of great features. So, tell about top five, or
Absolutely. So,
or
Pranav, I might
or
just not remember top five at the top of my head, but I think as we talked about the templates, I think that's definitely a key feature that has come off and it's helping a lot of people to, use pre-built templates which are available. The second bit that has come off is the packaging. I think, Pranav, I think we were discussing about this
Hmm.
bit earlier as well. So the packaging was a bit difficult with the previous releases, but with Utah and Vancouver being out, now the product is getting, you know, self. I mean, it is developing as the product team develops it further. The packaging has become easier. That's another feature that I've seen with the Vancouver. I think there's also been an feature introduced called Robot Calendar. I haven't explored it much, but basically it helps you to see when exactly those robots will be running in your environment again, so to avoid any conflicts. The other bit is I think it's a workspace as well, so you can basically have a look at all the robots that you've built on your workspace. ServiceNow extensively is pushing for building workspaces for each and individual applications. I think we have seen it for App Engine Studio as well, wherein you can just have a look at all your applications in a single panel. Are they being automatically pushed across from one instance to another using the automation pipelines? Similarly, a workspace has been introduced for the RPA bots as well. So basically, you can have a look at all the RPA bots that you've built. I think these are those 4 or 5 things that I can remember on top of my head, which I've seen
I think
introduced in the
you
last few
went
releases.
past five. I know you
Oh, my
went
bad.
past five, and that's like you that one cool feature that you mentioned is like the robot calendar. It's not robo calendar, it's robot calendar. So this is a kind of a calendar. I'll explain it in very simple. You all have outlooks, right? You have outlook where you define, okay, I'm doing this task this time, I'm attending this meeting and all. Similarly, robot calendar is for the robots, right? You can have a same robot do multiple tasks. Basically, it's like repetitive stuff. All right. So, quick question for you guys. Also, I'll probably ask you guys later. You might be knowing it, but for the chat, people who are watching us, like, what are the two different types of robots? Like, I have mentioned this multiple times, and but what are the two different types of robot in RPA? So go ahead and put in the chat answer, and I will give you guys 10 seconds to put your answer. At least just put one. So let's see on that. And yeah, so robot, coming back to
No,
robot calendar, it's go ahead.
no,
Go
sorry,
ahead,
Pranav. Go
Anil.
ahead. Sorry,
Now,
I'll
I was just
continue in a
saying,
bit.
robot calendar is something like you can. It's more of a calendar when a particular robot is performing certain automation. That's a simple thing, and yeah, that's about some of the features. And so I think like let's look into the chat. I'm not able to view the
Yeah,
chat
so
as of now.
we've got few questions over there. Uh,
But let's answer the first question that I asked, guys. Yes, I think we have got the answer: attended and unattended robot. That's about these are the two different types of robot. Now let's go. Before I jump into Ishan for to ask him some questions, I'll answer some question in the chat. So yeah, let's Ishan, if you can read it to me.
yeah, will there be any risk using RPA? So that's the first question that we've got.
Risk. So first thing is like we have like in when we are doing RPA, if the risk comes up, how the credentials are saved. So credentials and everything are saved in an encrypted form, right? And these things, that's why it's secure. And plus, I mentioned like RPA doesn't require a lot of access on the system. It can, if you don't even have access, right, to the system, you can still fill the form and everything using RPA. So that's the thing. And if you want to know more about like what are kind of security protocols and everything, we have a lot of good blogs on servicenowcommunity.com. So community.servicenow.com. So uh, go ahead and view all these things there. So I hope that's there. And I'm seeing one more question. How a non-tech guy make his start in RP? See, you have a living example in front of you. He's like this side, Atul. He has done the challenge, right? He has done it in a perfect way. It was easy for him. It's more of like if you go ahead and complete the challenge, you will understand how powerful and how low code things are in RPA. That's one of the benefits. So go ahead and complete the challenge, and you can see the link here in the QR code on Mohit's screen. If you're seeing on that, if you want to see like we have also given the link in the chat. So go ahead and just focus. Go ahead and register for the challenge and conquer it. So you will get some idea about it.
Yeah,
So
and
any other question?
also,
Go ahead.
Pranav, I guess there are few people who are maybe don't aware that what is the last day to submit this challenge. Swag is the one part, but definitely, if any challenge has been open, there should be some end line or deadline as well. So what is that? It's I guess 13 October, I guess, or it's like extended as well.
Exactly.
Oh,
It's 13 October. The last date to participate in the challenge is 13 October, and who knows, we might extend it if you
yes,
share some more love. I think like we have already got 120 plus entries in
correct.
the build with RPA, and some of them might have already got their swags. And more than swags, like I always talk about swags and everything, but more than swag, it's about learning. You guys are learning something new. The lab, like I would like to give kudos to Daniel Race, who worked on the lab and who built it in a such a he added each and every detail in the lab, from each and every step, what kind of errors you can face and all these things. So go ahead and do that. And maybe like you don't even have to like do that challenge. If you are a pro, you can build your own automations, and that's where they are. And I think like if somebody can post the link in the chat again,
Actually,
so
it's on the left on the
in the
QR
QR
code.
code also,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
we can just you can scan the QR code to go to the Conquer challenge. Or also we have already added a Honey. Thanks for adding a link in the chat, like about the video that me and Daniel Race did it on. It has like it's a 1 hour 42 minutes, and I like to share some kind of a trivia around it. That recording was actually 3 hours. I had to cut a lot of silent parts from that recording because it was hard for me to sit for 2 hours straight. So we had to do it in two sections. Like we were going and having doing some breaks and all. But yeah, a lot of people might have seen just 1 hour 42, but it was like 3 hour video. So that's about it. Okay, now let's coming back to Ishan. Ishan is also our MVP and a
Yeah.
certified technical architect. So, Ishan, I would like to ask you. Okay, we have asked. I won't ask you about the build with RPA stuff, but what are the two main features that you loved in RPA in Vancouver that were released in Vancouver?
Okay, so basically, the way I've seen the platform grow. So I started using Flow Designer back in 2018 when I started working with the platform, and the way it's growing, new things are coming in, and the streamer it gets, the easier it gets to work on with things. So it's just great, right? Like how ServiceNow is bringing in new stuff with every release. So one of the things is the I love with RPA is ServiceNow AI framework, right?
Ah,
And one is the invoke capability that we have got, code assist that we have got. So a lot of new things coming in every release, and the way every release, the features that we have got, the products that we have got, that get streamlined more and more based on the feedback that we give. So just love the way that all those things go around and happen. So yeah, that's what I would say, like to say on this one.
love it,
Nice.
love it. I love these are my personal picks also, like
Oh,
invoke
nice.
capability as well as code assist. So I'll just put a couple of lines about invoke capability thing. It's our in now in our inside RPA itself, you can access the cognitive skills. Like you might have seen the sentiment analysis, image classification, all these things using the invoke capability component, right? So like all the ML libraries, like from OpenAI, all these things that are there, you can go ahead and just use your API key and call these capabilities directly through the invoke capability component. And the second one, Ishan, that you mentioned about code assist, this is like personally for me because RP uses sometimes we have to use some pro code stuff in RP, and that is written in C sharp. And I am not a guy who knows C sharp. Right. So it's like it was like a kind of a boon for me, guys like me who don't know about how to write C sharp. But it's more of like you can utilize code assist to write some codes and make sure validate it validate those codes before you run it into the production. Otherwise, you will face some issues. So these were some of the cool feature. I really loved these particular things, and I think there were a lot more features that were released in RPA. One was the code quality checker. I think code quality checker was something like Mohit was talking about some time back. Like Pranav, code quality checker is something we definitely need. He talked with me like in a Bangalore meetup during Utah time, and I was like, I can't say because it was not released officially, and Mohit was like, "Can we have something like this?" I said, I was I was not able to say, but once it got released, he just messaged me and we had a discussion during the meetup. So he was like, "Yeah, this is something that's important because code quality checker for people who are new to RPA, it's similar to how." We have the code quality stuff checker in ServiceNow instance. It puts some guardrails, right? For example, like we all know we shouldn't use client records directly in client scripts, right? So code quality checker, if installed on ServiceNow instance, will get those things up. Like, okay, why you use it? They will throw a warning or something like that. Similarly, in RP, you have a lot of hard coded stuff that you can utilize SSIDs or credentials, expose credentials, right? One of our viewer actually asked the same thing, right? Like I think there was one person who asked like about the security aspects. You can put now the guardrails around it. You don't let certain code go into production which is not secured. For example, if there's a hard coded credential, so that's how code quality checker works. And yeah, we are talking, see, RP is something that we can talk for hours. And but I would just ask you guys, like, go ahead and participate in the build with RPA challenge that's going on. And like, don't listen to me, don't listen to the MVPs what they are saying. Go ahead and try on your own. First thing,
So,
you will learn something new, definitely. And
so Pranav,
second thing, go ahead, Ishan.
sorry to cut you, but one of the questions that I've been getting from a couple of folks in the community is around the universal app connector and universal recorder. So can you give us a brief on what that is and how does it help?
Yeah, sure. I think I just explained the universal recorder, but I would love to talk about it again. So universal recorder basically helps an RP developer to simplify the development by recording any business process. For example, like you go to, I'll just give a very simple example. You go to Amazon, you click on a particular item, then you click on add to cart button, then you click on order. That's what you do generally.
Yeah.
Just when you're doing all these steps, RP is basically recording those things in the back end if you have the universal recorder, so that as soon as you just click on it and like, so that when you click on these things, it recorded. Now RP can replicate the same process, right? That's what universal recorder does. It basically records what you're doing on the screen, whether it's a click, enter of a text, or maybe I think click is there, selection box. If you have multiple selections, you can select those things. RPA, that's what like universal recorder is, and that's our universal recorder is something like that we have used a lot in the build with RPA lab. That's it. And the second thing is the universal app connector, right? So this is something like my personal favorite. This was released in Utah, universal app connector, and this is my personal favorite. So what used to happen was, like, I can give you an example. Like, if a Google Chrome you have opened, that's one app. When you have a Windows app open, that's another app. Initially we had different kind of connectors available. I think Mohit and Atul, you have seen those things. Different kind of connectors available from our like our activities on the left side in a desktop design studio. So for example, if you want to open any kind of a Windows application, you had to just add a Windows connector and all. But in Utah, we introduced a universal connector, so you don't have to drag and drop the different connectors. If we gave it as a complete package in one, that's what universal app connector was. So that's and this is really, it has made our job very simple. As an RPA people, like if you're building automation, we don't have to just, for example, if this was not there, for if you were opening a Chrome, you use inter like IE connector, right? Then it might be like it might cause some issues. It won't load up and all. You might be thinking what's happening. So it's that's where universal recorder is. You just put it there, same component which will be used to open uh, any kind of an application, whether it's a Windows application, whether it's a browser or something. So that's about universal app connector. That's there. And I hope Sean, I think we lost Sean for a minute, but I think he got the answer. And some of you might also be wondering. So thanks, Sean, for asking this question. And like
Well,
RP
shall
can
we
do
take a question?
complex. Yeah.
I'm sorry, because there's a question in the chat, been there for a while.
Yes.
So I think the question is, can you tell us about a couple of use cases with real life examples? How do we implement this in an enterprise or on a personal level on a PDI?
Yep, I think on a personal level on PDI, I would say go ahead and think about any crazy example. Maybe try to do some kind of a small automation and just do some clicks. Or I would say the easiest one that I recommend is like go ahead and do a Google search with RPA, right? Just open a Google form, Google Chrome tab, and once you open, just put something in the text bar, click on search. That's there. And coming to the business use case, we have tons of cases in each industry. We have the telecom industry where we have multiple use cases. We have in the HR, especially the employee onboarding, offboarding, that's there. So in the onboarding stuff, you get a lot of documents and everything. You have to perform a lot of manual tasks like give access to this system, or maybe just send certain stuff like send emails or to legacy system and all. So you can do that. And in government, like you have verification processes that might require, if you're based in India, right? So right now a couple of systems are like legacy system, right? So RP can be really helpful there. And I have a complete set of use cases, business use case in a blog article that I have created in the past. So I'm gonna put the link in the description so that you guys can go through the use cases. So I think I can probably share my screen and show you that blog. If you give me a second, so just give me a second. I'll try to show you guys.
I think while Pranav is doing that, Mohit, Atul, do you guys want to talk about the application that you built as well? So on an RPA
Uh,
perspective, what was the personal project that you worked on?
Yes. So I'll take very simple example because again, when it's come to tech, I take my handouts. But with the help of RPA, I'm able to do a small automation because every Friday we have to fill our timesheets. And I'm sure that everybody who's sitting here or listening us, everybody has to be filled timesheets on a weekly or monthly basis. And until unless our team member did not remind us, we're not able to remember that and we can fail. So I done a automation on that part that okay, every Friday it should go at a place, check the email, pick up the all names and send the emails to that particular part. So my manual part which I have to be do every Friday to search the name, put copy paste the email body and send to the mail. So that I done with the RP automation part. And what very even though it is not a big time saving, I can say it's just a 5 or 10 minutes time saving, but yes, it is a time saving for me now and it's already been done on that particular part. I guess Mohit, you can share
Okay.
some thoughts or what you built because you I hear from Pranav that you attended that Bangalore developer meetup as well, and you have real hands-on experience than all three which we don't have. So what's your take on that part?
So, as we did the RPA challenge, I mean that was something which we did it during our meetup, and we were already aware of this pre-launch and everything. But the ideas which I was having in my mind, which I am thinking to implement, I haven't implemented yet. But the idea which I was having is like when we do some shopping right online, we think of this thing that we want to verify where we can get the cheapest product, or from where we can compare the prices, right? It's like
Right.
it's a basic thing which we probably do every day. If we have to order something, we go to multiple different sites and we look
Yes.
for that product, right? So that is something which is my idea where RPA can be helpful, which it can do that work for me. instead of me going and looking for each and every site. So that's what is idea from my end, and then I was thinking of a business case as well, where I believe that we for any particular job application we receive tons of applications, right? So it is very tedious for a human to go through with the applications and select or reject based on that applications. So their RPA can come into picture. It can read those documents on our behalf, and it can verify what all documents are aligned with the job requirement and what are not. So that our human work can be reduced. So these are the two use cases which I was having in my mind when I was doing the challenge.
Okay. Maybe, Andy, there's a question has been put. RPA
Yep.
can do complex and high level tasks as well. Let me a host now, and I would listen from you from a technical perspective. Complex and high level tasks. Can we RP can do here, or what are your thoughts on that part?
I think.
Exactly.
Sorry, Pranav.
Go ahead, Anit. Go ahead.
Oh, thanks. So yes, Pranav. Sorry. Yes, Atul. We can do a lot of complex processing from an RPA perspective as well. There are a couple of enterprise sort of applications that we're thinking of implementing on as well. So I work for a banking client. We basically work on transactions. So if a transaction has failed for some reason, again, all of these transactions are being stored in a computer somewhere very far, far away. So basically, you do not have access to do it via APIs. So this is a very good example where we're trying to think about having an RPA bot implemented, wherein if a transaction has failed due to certain reasons and then there are certain attributes on the transaction that needs to be updated, we'll be using the RPA. The other
Okay.
good example that can be implemented, which is sort of complex and might be a very uh, common use case for all the organizations. Let's say your computer is running slow. So what do? You basically raise a case and they give you sort of steps. So go ahead, clean your temporary files. Go ahead, switch off these services that are running on your platform. Maybe look at what sort of applications are running when you boot up your computer, stuff like that. So what RPA can help you do is all of these actions can be automated. If you raise the case, it basically does it automatically on your computer and then asks, is the problem resolved now for you? If not, then obviously we go for the further steps. But as the first level of checks, rather than giving them a whole list of things that can be done
Nice.
via in an article, you basically do it via an RPA. So again, good, challenging, high performing tasks that can be implemented via RPA. And I think more and more use cases would be coming up as we grow this product.
Correct.
And I'd like
Correct.
to add something more to it. Like in Vancouver, we have also added a capability to run JavaScripts directly from RPA. So if you are thinking of doing some kind of a complex manipulation or something, you can go ahead and use RPA and run some JavaScript in the backend. So me and Daniel raised its webinar. I think like on what's new in Vancouver in RPA. So we showed that capability. So go ahead and check that out. So yes, so that's there. And I also posted the link in the chat, the blog article where I've covered various use cases. So go ahead and read that blog, and you can see all the examples and everything.
Amazing.
No.
So
Sure.
Pranav,
All
one
right.
question I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, we spoke about universal recorder, right? And we got to know about its use cases, where all we can use it and how it is helpful. But are there some limitations or restrictions to this universal recorder which we should keep in our mind before we are planning to implement it?
So, if I talk about any kind of limitation as such, so you will be able to, right now, I don't think we can just copy certain images or everything if there is some kind of an image that's there. Still, I'm not sure about it, whether it's still built or not, but that's there. Couple of things are there which we are trying to improve. And again, safe harbor, like in Washington, the W release that's coming up, there will be a lot of new things in Universal Recorder will be doing much more enhanced stuff. And what I personally feel when I use Universal Recorder, like sometimes like when you're recording things, it's like it doesn't record certain elements, right? So we'll be adding more support. recording elements and everything. So that's there. So I think like we are probably in the end of the hour, and I think we have answered all the questions from the chat. And plus, I would like to firstly say thank you very much to Sunny and Ishan for letting me host this session today. And big thanks to Atul and Mohit for joining us and talking about their experience with RPM. And folks, who are watching us right in live or after the show, go ahead and use the QR code that's there, or just go to Google and type Conquer the RPA challenge. Complete the challenge, you will learn a lot, and plus you will get a limited edition swag. So that's all. That's all we have for you guys in the show. I hope you liked it. Thank you very much for watching, and we're gonna see you uh, next time. And probably I shouldn't be saying next time because it's a Hermeet and Ishan show. So they will see you guys next time. Hopefully, I can come up. Anything before we close? Anything you guys want to plug in? Okay. I
Maybe just a quick thing. I think the weekend's coming up. If you have got nothing else to do, the Fridays for you, but again, Saturday, Sunday, you can obviously go through this. Pranav and Daniel did a really good session. I think I've seen that video. They're doing it in hands-on sessions. So obviously, if you've got, I think there was a question posted in the chat earlier. Can you do a live session with some, live things to be done on the screen? It becomes a bit challenging because we've just got it for like about 50 minutes of the show, and then with the introductions and talking about the challenge, it becomes difficult to cover that. But again, Pranav and Daniel, they've covered it really nicely. So you can spend your weekend doing the fun, and then obviously you get a cool, nice
Yes.
swag. But again,
perfect.
thank you so much, Pranav, for helping us out today. A lot of questions were answered, and thanks a lot for sharing your knowledge. Same for Atul, Mohit, you guys as well. And
Thanks.
congratulations for
Thanks, Randy.
participating on the challenge and completing it.
And I have one thing to plug in. So today we are having a live coding happy hour, maybe in 4 hours, and some Pokemons are coming to the show. I think
Oh,
more. So go ahead and join that, like to see some cool use case around Pokemon, Digimon, and I think some Beyblades and all. So maybe come join us for the live coding happy hour. It will happen like I think like 7 hours from now. So go ahead and join us. Yeah, that's one thing I like to
yeah.
plug in. All right, folks. Thank you very much for
Thanks,
watching,
everyone.
and
Thank you,
bye
everyone.
bye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Have a
you for
nice
joining.
weekend.
Bye bye.
Thank you,
Bye
Pranav.
bye.
Thank you, Atul. Thank
Bye.
you, Mohit. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.